Heaven just knows what it wants. Will I go back to the place where I belong? Everyone could break my heart, but I try my best to not fall apart. And I found it hard to let go. The memories keep me together. Gotta fight till the end, no pressure, no pressure. And I find it hard to say no to the ones who want something better, to the ones who never say never. You'll be my pleasure. I got nothing to be scared of, because where people live, there is always love. I know the answers in my heart, so I'll try my best to not fall apart. And I found it hard to let go. The memories keep me together. Gotta fight till the end, no pressure, no pressure. And I find it hard to say no to the ones who want something better, to the ones who never say never. Will you be my pleasure? Find it hard to let go. Memories keep me together. Gotta fight till the end, no pressure, no pressure. And I find it hard to say no to the ones who want something better, to the ones who never say never. Will you be my pleasure?
Hand on the wheel, got my pistons pumping. All 800 horses say I calling to say I
Alright, welcome everybody. Today we are going to have a look at the Formula Racing League Christmas special. This is a little bit of a one-off event we're running here. It's going to be at Donington Park. I assume you guys would have guessed that by now. We're currently in qualifying. And we'll be watching the GT3s battle it out at first before seeing what the GT4s can do here. Welcome to the stream everybody. In the meanwhile, my name is Rick Popkin. People that play Counter-Strike might be familiar with me. I normally do mainly Counter-Strike commentating. However, I've been asked to take on a new challenge today, and that new challenge will be sim racing for me, first time round. So very much excited to get into it and see what happens. I have the chat open on my second screen as well, so if you have any questions, if you want to point something out, let me know. You should be able to achieve that. Yeah, and in the meanwhile, I'm just quickly double checking everything. Yep, it looks like I've set up everything correctly this time around, for the first time. Let me know if the volumes of the microphones or whatever is not good, so I can try and fix that as soon as possible, because I only got a new microphone very recently. Still in the process of playing around with it a little bit, playing around with the filters, all that kind of stuff. So anyways, we got, let's see, 41 drivers out there today. Majority of them will be racing the GT3s, but we've also got GT4s out there today. First off, watching the GT3s mainly. They're going to be trying qualifying as good as they can. Please, yes, I can click V. Yes, I should be able to. Alright, yep, there we go. See, for me it's also a little bit of a setup thing. I haven't really used the in-game spectator thing that much, especially now. I'm still trying to get the map to be full screen, but it seems like there are absolutely no like guides or anything on how spectating works. So what I'm trying to do here is I want to, well, first of all, I want to make the map full screen, which I'm still trying to figure out here, and also figure out how I can separate the glasses in the screen. The other issue is that it seems that I need to tab in, which is quite unfortunate. Imagine, thank you. Well, if you know how to fix the other twos, let me know as well, so I should be able to get those going. I want to make sure the full, what's it called, the full map is shown. But it seems like they've just not written any documentation on it whatsoever. So that's unfortunate, so I guess we're just gonna have to do it without, but it is what it is. Nice sometimes being posted already. That's always good to see. Alright, so what's going on there? There's just no information on it. Alright, well, that's great. If somebody knows, let me know. It would be very much appreciated. Meanwhile, I guess we're just gonna have to do it this way, improvise our way through. It is what it is, but that's what I'm saying. You can press insert on your keyboard. Gaps. Yeah, no, I saw. Wait, insert? Yeah. Okay, insert doesn't do anything for me. I saw I did. I assume you're talking about this key, which is. The thing is, I gotta be tapped in though, that's the issue. So that's the only way I can get it working, which is really unfortunate because, well, I can't really afford to tab in if I want to swap POVs around as well. So I guess I'll have to find a way through. Now it shows. That's perfect, I guess. We'll just keep it like this, yeah. Otherwise you just have to do real quick alt tabs, which is not really professional. So, yeah, gonna have to do it like this. But what I'm trying to set up here mainly is the track map properly. That would be the biggest change. I guess that would definitely be the thing that we would benefit from the most at the moment. So I'm gonna see if I can get that fixed. I don't know why they've just completely forgotten about all of it, like no info on it whatsoever. I also have to do with the settings, that could also just be it. More drivers getting out there on track now. We've got a first times posted, the first one being this one. It's a Barry currently fastest lap around, 125.9 is the time to beat here. Obviously running the LFM balance of power as well. Basically means that all cars have been tested to kind of represent an equal playing field as much as that is possible. And I see lots of Dutchies on track as well. Makes me very happy because that's where I'm from. At least that's where I live. Probably a better way to post it. And I'm trying to see if there's any like names that I recognize from the league, from my own other leagues that I do commentating for, but I haven't been able to find any. So I guess it's mainly new people for me now. So no, I can't really find it, so I guess we're just gonna have to do it without. It'd have been unfortunate, but it is what it is. Well, if anybody happens to know how I can sacrifice the, set the map correctly, it would be very much appreciated. Otherwise, we're just gonna have to do it without here. Job place is coming to a halt. It's resetting into the pits now. It's really unfortunate. I can't even see the map myself this way. That's the main thing that is like. Jordan May has also gone off the road, it's just reset himself. So it's come to do with the... Alright, that's perfect, that's what I wanted, yeah. I'm just looking for the options sometime around, so... Sometimes the... Oh, there that goes again, there we go. Alright, so that is that. I'm still figuring out the keys as we go, lads, but it is what it is, honestly. Alright, yeah, there we go. I think I've got it set up now. Right, it gives me some time to focus up on the stream now, actually. Well, it is what it is. It's not perfect, but we're gonna have to do with it. It's 10 minutes now past in qualifying. And basically means that all the GT3s are gonna come in. And then we're gonna see the GT4s out on track. You can see that's the KTM X-Bow, crossbow, excuse me. Depends on how you want to call it, out on track. You can see the last GT3 still finishing up the laps, and now all the GT4s are able to get out on track and try and post the lap and still be a few seconds off the pace compared to the GT3s, obviously. And you can also note who is a GT4 driver. If you look at the driver names right now, you'll see the bottom 5 drivers at the moment, so from A. Scott all the way to N. Woodward. You can see that they have a little bit of a blue mark next to their racing numbers, which means they're driving in GT Focus at the moment. So that's one way to easily recognize who's in which class. So I don't have official statistics here, but I see that we have 28 GT3 drivers, and then means we have... So 20, wait, do we have 28? Yep, 28 GT3 drivers. So 41. So that's 13 GT4 drivers. So right, so significantly less GT4 drivers out there. Good evening, Alan Brow. Welcome to the stream. Here comes Faisal. Yeah, absolutely. A voice that normally is only involved in Counter-Strike and only recently picked up sim racing, so we're trying to figure out as we go. It was a little bit of a challenge for me, but I like challenges myself, and it's not going to be perfect, and knowing me, at some point we'll have some technical issues as well. That's just how my streams usually go. But anyways, we'll figure that out later on. You can see all the GT3s, they're in the pits. Ooh, what has just happened with one of the drivers? Giorgio Burgio just had to reset himself into the pits. That is not a good looking sign. Giorgio, the drivers crossing the finish line are starting on their fast laps. A couple more drivers we gotta keep an eye on. One of them is meant Tim Immanuelson, now also starting his last lap, and that means there's only a few which haven't yet, and I've been told to pay some extra attention to this man around, James Williams, driving in the Ginetta GT4. For the people unfamiliar with how that works, we have GT3s, GT4s on track. You're doing well, mate. Very much appreciate it, man. But yeah, basically how it works is usually you'll see the lowest class is GT5s, British GT5 Championship, which is a one car only. It's this car actually, but slightly less aggressive version. The Ginetta GT5 Championship, I think it's only run in the UK, and then you have the GT4s, which are significantly faster, and then we have the GT3s, which are even faster and have more aero as well. There's also a thing called GT2, for example, but the thing with GT2s is that they have considerably more power but less aero, so they're actually more difficult to drive and sometimes not even quicker. And it's very fun as well to see some other cars out there sometimes on track, because I haven't really seen a lot of GT4s out there on Assetto Corsa Competizione in general. It's a overlooked genre of cars for sure, at least in this game. Currently watching Pauli for his first time up. That was a 138.3 here, and ooh, James Williams has gone off, and I wonder if he's collided with Berger, who's also had a little bit of a moment here. Both of them marked in yellow here, and ooh, Assetto in the wall. That's not a good looking sign during qualifying. I can't wait for the GT2 pack to come out. Yeah, me neither. It's bringing even more variety here, and honestly, if they could potentially at some point try to get the GT5s in as well, so you could kind of do like a, you know, GT5 to GT2 thing, career mode or something like that. I feel like that would be really fun. I doubt they're gonna do it, but who knows? Maybe that's a thing for the future. We're going to be out there today in the Alpine. The Alpine seems to be the most popular choice in terms of GT3 cars. There's 2 of them on the grid. The only car that also has 2 of them. No, wait, there's 3 of them. There's also 3 Mercedeses, so these are the most popular ones. You can definitely see the differences in the cars as well. Significantly less aero, way less spoiler involved. But they are good looking. Ooh, James Williams also got off, and I don't know what's happening with Giorgio Berger. It just seems to be stuck out there today. He actually is GT3, but he keeps popping up and not in the pit, so that's why I was looking at that. Turns out that he's actually alright to go. So we see multiple drivers making their way up now to Melbourne. Located in the East Midlands, Stonington Park, the unofficial home of the FRL, I wanted to say. That was the name that I was looking for. And the track that I'll be visiting for the first time in my life this year as well. In late April, I'll be there. Just got my passport. I'll be watching the British Touring Car Championship there. Something I'm very much looking forward to. Because it is a lot of fun, this track. Like, I've not really driven much Assetto Corsa in my life. I've played a bit of the regular Assetto Corsa, so not Competizione, just the other one. Managed to get myself up to, well, you know, some decent pace around this track. I believe did some races in this thing as well. Yeah, I believe I did some GT5 races, and it was a lot of fun, honestly, but I'm nowhere close to the skill levels of the drivers, because what we're seeing here is, like, to me, unreal, because I can't keep a car on the road for more than 1 lap for sure. That's the main thing right now. So today as well we have a 2-hour race upcoming, so curious to see how that one's going to play out here. Okay, gonna be just parking up, resetting himself as well, so that they can then keep going again. Currently aboard with the number 10, that is Riccardo Trevino, driving the Mercedes AMG GT4. It's bright orange, so I'm sure we'll notice it around the track quite a bit. Trying to cross the line now. What's it gonna be? Also 142, that's not good enough. 143 for Manuel Bugarin, so no significant improvements made there. Give you an idea, the fastest GT4 car out there at the moment is Mr. Zakdal. He's driving 134s. He 133 was his best so far, which is roughly 3.5 seconds of the pace compared to the GT3s. So we'll see them get lapped quite often, I want to say. You never know, we might see some good fights over there as well. So we gotta make sure that we don't overdo it when it comes to GT3s, because in the end, you know, we have 2 separate competitions here going on. It's a one-off, so no season standings involved, but still would be very much appreciated if, you know, both of them get their well-deserved attention. 2 minutes left of qualifying now. Angela Scott just made, I assume, her way into turn 1 after setting a lap that was good enough for number 4 in the GT4 championship. To give you an idea at the moment as well, I completely forgot to point it out. We have Barry on P1, then we have Itor, Veldman, Russo, and Brooker rounding out the top 5 in GT3 class. Current standings in the GT4 class are Zakdal, Gordby, now Trevino after going a little bit faster. Trevino, Scott, and then Woodward as well to round it out. Curious to see what they can do here. Alex Zakdal is going to try crossing the line one more time. Is he going to be getting significant improvement? Doesn't look like he will. So he'll have to try again if he wants to improve here. Here's Angela Scott again, still on her lap. Still a decent time so far, but I'm gonna try and see if they potentially could improve on that. I gotta be careful with my pronouns as well, just realized, because in the other league that I do, it's only men. A little bit easier. I believe this league is a little bit more diverse when it comes to that. So if I make a mistake, apologies for that. Obviously never any harm intended. And already got a lot of stuff to look at the same time, so in that sense, it's obviously a little bit of a challenge for me, but there's not a single challenge that I won't take on, at least not when it comes to commentating. Qualifying officially over now, so everybody's able to finish the lap. That was Maltapoli just crossing in the KTM. Improved the lap by a little bit here, puts it on 34th position. Trevino doesn't go faster, Manuel Ballerin doesn't do either. So the Swedes looking good here for improvement when it comes to the GT4 class here. They're already in first and second at the moment. Zakdal doesn't go faster, but doesn't really matter because he already is so far up. First position for him at the moment. Elke Garby goes quite wide, maximizing the most he can out of the track, but not able to put it on pole position for his class, respectively. Now waiting for Angela Scott to come in as well. Now we're quickly gonna get into the Bureau back screen while I get time to set everything up for the race. And by the way, Alan, if you have any idea as to how I could potentially set my game in a way that I could also filter both championships at the same time, especially without having to tab in. No, it's Angela Scott not even finishing the lap. Neil Woodward's the only one left on track at the moment, so Yesterday Morning gets all the attention it deserves here. Number 999, Neil Woodward, really good for P35, so bang on in the middle, not finishing the lap. That means we're quickly gonna head into a Bureau back screen, and then we're gonna be back with the race, which is going to be 2 hours. Oh well, that went quicker than I expected, so that means that I could immediately put it back up. There we go. That is probably a little bit less professional, but that at least means that we are already good to go. 1 minute until we get going. It's going to be a rolling start. At least I believe so. If I'm not mistaken. So this is normally where I'd play some videos, but unfortunately I'm not allowed to have those today. Only 40 seconds till we get going. I've just quickly checked all the technicalities, but I think we should be getting ready to go. Lots of new names as well, so if I mispronounce some, please don't be too harsh on me here. Especially with my Dutch accent, it's going to be interesting for sure. Alright, well, we got a 2-hour race ahead of us here, so we're gonna be here for quite a while. Try to keep it as quiet as well for my sleeping parents. Don't want to disturb them with anything. Everybody's come to a start, at least. Look like it. This man on pole position here, Adam Berry in the Aston Martin. Going to be starting from first position. Right, everybody, so if you can see with how many drivers there are on the grid, it's always going to be some action going on. You can see as well the cars marked in blue are the GT4 cars. And the cars marked in grey are the GT3 cars. The current race leader is a triangle. The other ones are circles for the people that don't have any experience with watching these events. So that should give you a good idea of how things go around here. And the driver I'm currently spectating is in red. Currently that's Adam Berry, so you can see the red triangle. That's him. And with a 2-hour race coming up, I bet it's going to be exciting stuff. And by the way, while we have some time before the race starts, I also wanted to point out that I'm very thankful to be allowed to be trusted with the broadcast. This channel means a lot to me. Normally on Twitch, this time on YouTube round, so a little bit of a change up there. Want to check out my socials, by the way, my Twitter handle is RickyDC. The I is a 1. Same for my Twitch channel, so if you want to have a look, feel free to follow me. Might be able to join in for some more races as well. I believe I should be doing the New Year's race as well. At least that was the original plan. Don't know if it still is. I assume so, because I haven't gotten any updates about it. Alright, so in the last corner, currently waiting for all drivers to close the gaps a little bit. It is a rolling start obviously, so you have to be careful. It's going to be Adam Berry starting here from pole positions, driving up and going a little bit further until the mark. And there we go, that is green lights. We are officially on the way. Adam Berry is actually he's starting off decently well here, but immediately it is the number 2 being touched. That is Ether going off, and quite far as well. Not much that can be done about that, but it's a massive incident there. And he's been pushed all the way towards the back. There are loads of drivers involved in incidents. It's an absolute massacre here. You see James Williams going off as well. There are so many accidents happening at the same time. It is an absolute slaughter. Immediately we're not off to a good start here. So many drivers going over, so many drivers trying to recover. There's a car going into the wall. I believe that is one of the GT3s. Oh, what a mess it has been from the beginning here. Jay Brooker has got to go really wide, and Zakdal, the leader of the GT4 class, has had to go off as well. Ian Thompson has also spun, so this really has been an eventful start, let's be honest, out here today. Don't know how that has happened, but what a mess it has been. One man is still leading, and that's Adam Barry. Already trying to build up a gap here. You can see it as well, some GT3 cars are now actually behind your GT4s thanks to the incident, so they're going to have to pause safely. And obviously you're not allowed to defend, it's not very worthwhile to argue. There's also one more driver going, that's Gardby, who's going slowly. Had a bit of a moment there, but managed to recover here, letting all the GT3s pause as well. It's probably a good decision here. Oh, that is Ian Thompson going off once again. Has recovered already so far behind. We're not off to a great start for him, at least. Currently aboard with Simone Sberla. A name that actually does seem to ring a bell. He might have participated in one of the events in the Amigos Racing League. I could be mistaken. Don't know the full details, to be honest. There's just too much to take into account. But anyways, it's still Alex Barry leading the race, followed by Veldman and Russo here. So we've had a couple drivers gaining loads of positions here. Connor's one of them, for example, up 7 positions. Burgio's up 18. That is very impressive. He started behind the GT4s. Didn't set a proper lap time here. And ooh, Grigory Gankov going for a move here, defending aggressively. Managed to get the move on. McLaren, unfortunately, not able to defend that one here. So stuff we're seeing early. Very, very hard racing here. Currently watching Graham Potter, who's fighting against the KTM crossbow, goes down the inside. What a beautiful move that was from Cameron Potter. Does leave the space as well, but I believe the KTM is fully behind, and indeed that is the case. Aston Martin wants to have a look as well, going up the inside. Is there going to be space? Yeah, it looks like this is very clean racing we're seeing here from the GT4s early on. It is the Mercedes leading at the moment. Not much that can be done about that one. You can see the Ferrari there coming in the back. That is actually a GT3 car, so trying to find a way to get past. It's going to be very tricky, and that's the biggest downside here when it comes to driving in a GT3, but being behind. There's quite a few of them actually involved in that fight, so gonna have to see how that one goes on. Sean Connor goes a little bit wide. It's gonna cost him a couple positions. That looks like 2. So nothing too bad here, but quite unfortunate. Sean Connor loses a little bit of time going over the main straight now, headed into the first turn again. A little bit messy, but managed to keep it going at least. That's what matters here. Looks like there are still 41 drivers, so it looks like nobody is with the serve. Yeah, everybody's still driving despite the incidents that we've seen before, and I wouldn't be surprised if some drivers go in immediately to get their damages repaired or change tires already. I guess that wouldn't be worth it, but considering how much time we've got left, that is one of the drivers going off. It's Silvestri losing a couple positions. No, excuse me, it's actually Anderson in the 888 Ferrari 296, that is. He's got a couple positions. This is Mark Stewart losing out to Itor, and Itor looks like he is only just slightly ahead, but indeed he has to put it. John Itor in the Mercedes now, going down the chicane. Looks like that one really well as well. Those are the Ferrari S's, if I'm not mistaken here, making their way onto the shield straight. I've done my reaches on the track at least this time around. Can't say that for the other races that I was doing. And now you can already see the gap here between the GT3s and the GT4s. You can see how far behind they are already after just only 5 laps here, but racing their own race, not really bothered with GT3s. The only thing you gotta be careful with is that you know, shouldn't be blocking GT3s, but other than that you should be fine here. We're currently watching Angela Scott trying to make a move here on that Mercedes, but that Mercedes seems to be just slightly quicker here. A little bit of a better exit now. Angela Scott's giving it a look down the inside, but doesn't look like there's a lot of space. She'll have to just slot him behind, hoping for another opportunity at some point, but that opportunity hasn't really come yet. Ooh, that is a Lambo driving really slowly. So that was actually Jay Brooker going off there, now getting in the mix with the GT3 cars. It's a messy race, we can say that much. I believe only 5 minutes have passed, and this time around Jan Uter has actually made a move here. That is Taylor losing out 1 position. Moves Uter up to P17. Good move there from the Mercedes AMG GT3. But still this man leading, Adam Barry Hasn't had any problems yet. Currently seems to be posting stable lap times, faster than the rest of the field as well. Last lap was a 1:26.5, which is also the fastest lap of the race so far. He's currently creating quite a big gap here. You can see already trying to hold on, if he could perhaps here. Currently watching Valentin Russo behind the Audi R8. Now the Audi R8 can be a tricky car. It's a living death trap. At least that's what my friends always tell me. So I'm just gonna trust their expert's opinion here. To be honest, I don't know that much about the cars in Assetto Corsa Competizione in general. I tend to stick to commentating only, and as a result, it's just that I don't really have that much in-game depth. I have watched some GT4 racing myself, some GT3 racing as well in real life at the Hockenheim Ring in Germany last summer. Going again there next year, things keep staying the way they are, at least that is. Going to go on a little motorsports related trip. Very much excited for that one. Watching Craig Hill currently in the middle of a McLaren sandwich. That is Jay Smith right ahead, and now actually Anderson coming around behind the Ferrari. Thought it was a Mercedes, sorry, a McLaren sandwich. Turns out it's not. Craig Hill here really needs to push for that position. You can see there's a little train there of McLarens, and I know that McLaren is a very widespread and popular car in this game. It's the one that I probably see the most, together with the 296. Seems to be a very stable and good option. After that, it's probably the Mercedes that you see most, together with the Porsche, I want to say. The leader, at least for now, is actually an Aston Martin. Now, that's a new Aston Martin, actually. There's multiple in the game. Goes for multiple cars. For example, there's also an old McLaren, but those aren't really used anymore. There's really no meta for those cars anymore, but McLaren being the most popular out there for sure. Looks like the Aston Martin really is competitive out there today. Now, obviously we have the low fuel motorsport balance of powers, so not every car acts the way they should. That I mean that some cars that are slow have got some weight removed, some cars that are fast have gotten some weight added as well to make it a level to make it an equal playing field. Adam Anderson trying to make his way around, but doesn't look like there's a lot of space for him yet. Following Craig Hill, trying to see where could I potentially make this move. At the moment, it doesn't look like there's a lot of space, and obviously on the straight might be able to slipstream a little bit here, get a little bit closer before you need to brake over for the sharp left and then the sharp right. Ooh, that is one of the McLarens going off. That is Julian Smith using quite a bit of time, actually recovering quite well. Has lost some positions as a result, but actually keeps the car going. That's what matters most. There's good stuff we're seeing there in terms of recoveries. Those mistakes happen, man. It's racing. It's tough. You really got to focus on for 2 hours here. Ooh, and that is Gianmarco Silvestri also having a little bit of a moment here, so he has to let the other cars pass. Now seems to be able to get going at least. Once again, ooh, that's another moment here. That is James Williams putting it into the wall almost. Managed to get out here, but not a good look here for James Williams. It's a good looking car, but gotta make sure that it keeps clean, mate. He's going again, that's one of the most here. Now switching back to Angelo Scott here in the GT4 Aston Martin, trying to battle with the other GT4, that is Woodward, driving right ahead here, but also the Mercedes following. So equal machinery for these two. Last turn there, Goddards it is. Is there potential for a move? Well, not quite yet. You're headed onto the main straight now. Finishing up yet another lap here. Majority of the GT3 cars have already passed the GT4s at least once. Currently on the way to do it again. So there definitely is a difference in speed there. I actually wonder how it has been decided who drives what. I believe it's just their own choice. I believe they've just decided like, hey, we can just do whatever we want. And resultingly you get some faster drivers in GT3s and some slower drivers in GT3s. But oh, what is this? And Valentin Russo seems to struggle rejoining, but looks like he's actually had an incident colliding with the GT4. That is Tom Brunel in the Porsche GT4. That's the Porsche Cayman, if I'm not mistaken. A little bit of a moment. It looks like he's able to keep it going again there. Switching back to Angelo Scott, because this is where the real racing is at. The only drivers that are really close at the moment. Angelo Scott still trying to chase down the other McLaren, but it looks like they're just going to keep going in that train. No real winner has been decided here. Ooh, Mark Stewart has gone off, and that is a big shunt into the wall as well. Ooh, that is quite unfortunate, but it looks like he has kept it going. More damage here. Now you can see a potential move there for the Aston Martin, but there simply seems to be no space here, so they're going to have to slot him behind again. Angelo Scott hasn't been able to make a way around. Julian Smith now fighting Equal Machinery. He's fighting fire with fire here, going side by side with Craig Hill, who's going to come out on top. It looks like Julian Smith has just made a move, and it looks like he's done that successfully too, moving up to 12th position now. Can he keep it a good streak? Well, actually, you got to be careful here, because it looks like Craig is just going to go right down the inside there. Is there space? No, not quite. So he's going to have to wait just a little bit longer here. But it actually looks like he had quite a bit more speed there coming into the next turn. Unfortunately, everybody got a break there hard. But now it looks like Julian Smith's passed, and now also trying to hit a little bit of a gap here. Into the straight. Looks like the grip on the Mercedes, on the McLaren, excuse me, isn't optimal. See, this is what happens when you watch too much Formula 1. You start mixing up teams, right? It's just McLaren, Mercedes, whatever, man, that works. Whoopsie. Kind of watching Jordan May. No, it's not James May, because this guy actually is fast. In the Dragon Ball Z livery. An interesting choice for sure. Ooh, that is the Camaro going off in the background. That is one of the GT4 cars. Looks like he's able to recover. That was this man, Jim Manuelson. Let me tell you this actually. The GT4 muscle cars that we've had, especially the Hockenheim ring, they sound simply amazing. Oh man, probably my favorite sound. The entire race weekend. Ooh, Melker Gardby has gone off the track. Looks like he's had a little bit of snap oversteer there into the last turn of the track. He's able to keep it going, but has been passed by quite a few drivers now. Most of them actually GT4, so that means that he's going to be involved in the mix once again. Looks like we'll have to fight back for the positions here. Jan Itor here going side by side. We'll have to slot him behind Anderson. So Anderson actually moves up yet another position here. Up to P9, but no, down the inside he goes, trying to hold on to the position. Jan Itor doesn't want to give it up, but that Ferrari is looking really quick out there. Now, it is unfortunate that he can't really drive away, because the KTM crossbow actually got in the way just a little bit here. Now, letting go of the drivers behind him. Obviously very stressful around there, trying to not get in the way of the GT3s here. That's your main priority at the moment. You're not really fighting anybody. The last thing you want to do is screw up other people's races. So good to see that they have some good awareness around here. Some very close racing, and a lot of drivers on the track means it's always going to be very exciting stuff we're going to be watching here. First 15 minutes are over as well. Things are looking good out there tonight for Alan Brown, with quite a few positions, and now overtakes Jones again, who gave it a go, not able to stick the landing, so it will be Brown still in 5th position here, looking good in the FRL Racing livery. Very nice text on the spoiler as well, sim racing at its very best. Yeah, that's what it is. Now you can see the speed difference as well here onto the straight. That Mercedes you're seeing there is a GT4. You can see just how big the difference really is. Now it doesn't seem like a lot actually when you look at it from this side, but if you compare the lap times it's quite big, but obviously the difference in aero obviously plays a big role there as well. I'm actually not sure what the engine regulations are for the GT4 cars. Don't know the exact details unfortunately, but maybe do some research. These four are all fighting for position. Ignore the Mercedes that you saw there, but it's Brown, Jones, Rusu, and also soon May to get involved in a fight here. Freeway battle for P5, and that is the Porsche going off. That is Jones losing quite a bit of time there now. Jordan May is actually going to be passing him as well. Chris Jones here, trying to slot in time. Looks like he's managed to do it. Lost the position out to May though. Unfortunately not able to regain that position quite yet. Gonna give it another go sooner, but he has to be careful because it looks like Jan Itor has come to say hi as well in that Mercedes. And ooh, there he goes. Look at the speed difference we're seeing there. Simply quicker around there, it looks like. So now actually on the inside line, it's going to be Jan Itor moving up one position. Beautiful move there, made over by Jan Itor. Simply done for. Simply looks like there is no space left. Switching over to a fight a little bit further back here. It's Marco Vergouwen we're aboard with. Trying to get a Ferrari into P14, but it looks like Sean Connor. Actually, is it Sean Connor? Gotta double check. Yeah, it is. Sean Connor still defending quite well or so. Equal Machinery going down the main straight now. Gotta be careful because there is an Alpine on the line. So it's very difficult to estimate as well. Like, hey, where are these GT4s gonna go? Because with less aero and less speed, it might be a little bit unpredictable. It's very hard to estimate those kind of things. Ooh, Yannick Petschke has gone off and actually now is in the way. You can see that the Audi R8 also was involved in that incident. Had to go wide. Looks like that was just an avoiding action. A little bit unfortunate, but that happens here. Interesting enough, actually, as well, there are 3 GT3s behind him. Ooh, that is Jack Evans having a little bit of a moment just as we swap over to his PV. Right, not having the greatest of races here. Now you can see the Ferrari getting off the line. Oh, it's a sandwich, and he gets absolutely shoved around here. That is also the McLaren going around. That is Craig Hill, I believe. Yeah, indeed it is. He's gone into the wall. Thanks to, well, I wanted to say, thanks to the other drivers, really. Nothing much that he could have done about that one. Ooh, that is a tough one here for Craig Hill, losing out on so many positions now. Needs to slot in behind, needs to even let the GT4 go just a little bit. So I wanted to highlight there what the GT3s in the back were doing, trying to get around, but no. That's unfortunate. Now, as soon as we swapped over, there was a little bit of an incident there. Ooh, that is another touche touch, man. I know you're faster in the GT3, but you gotta take it careful around here. Don't want to be ruining anybody's races. But it's so good in the end. Looks like everybody's still going. That's what matters most. Ooh, Graham Poller's gone off as well here. Trying to recover. It looks like he'll do that at least here, but that was a little bit of a weird one there. Going off really wide at the main straight, it looked like. I'm not entirely sure about that one. There's Neil Woodward now still fighting around with Scott, trying to maintain the lead, and still has it at the moment. Don't believe they've swapped positions as of yet. Valentin Rusu here headed into the little chicane, trying to potentially make a move on the Mercedes. And look at the speed difference we're seeing here going down the inside. Ooh, will there be space left? Yes, there will be. Valentin Rusu moves in one position, puts the car into P5 here. Looks like Jan Itor didn't get to say a lot about that one. Very clean move we're seeing here now. Is there an opportunity to switch back? No, not quite here, but the Mercedes is still hanging on. They're basically side by side as we head onto the main straight. But no, there we go. He is ahead. He's made the move happen. Was a little bit closer than it should have been perhaps. Mike Bullen has gone off, but it looks like he has recovered as well. So first pit stop being made by a couple drivers out there. There's one mandatory pit stop. However, you can choose to do whatever you like. You can choose to refill. You can choose to swap tires. But as long as you pit once, you're going to be fine. There's also a maximum stint timer of 65 minutes, that is. I'm trying to see if there's any battles going on, but actually this man now, once again Jordan May, trying to get closer to the Mercedes here, but the Dragon Z power of anime might not always work on your side, because it looks like Jan Igor is actually slowly but surely able to get away. It's Igor, by the way, not Igor, Ricky. Apologies for that. Still, this man leading, absolutely no issues whatsoever. Adam Berry seems to be having a very, very good race in the Aston Martin. Simply not a lot of competition here. Fastest lap and definitely also the fastest driver on average here. So actually already getting closer to lapping some of the GT3s. Simply not a lot that can be done about it. It simply seems to be one of the fastest drivers out there on the grid, and doesn't look like we get a lot of competition. But that may change later, you never know. Jan Eater now getting closer again to Valentin Rusu, but Valentin Rusu wants to stay away from the fight. Currently second is what separates them. You can see as well how many GT4s around here actually are influencing the battle here, because look at this, you know, the GT4 can absolutely get in the line, and there's so much you can do about it. Well, obviously they're trying to give some space, right? They're trying to be lenient, but it's very, very difficult around here. Swapping over to Melker Gardbidden, so this is for the GT4 class. As I say that, actually, it looks like there's been an accident here. That is Neil Woodward going off as well. Ooh, Turner. Simatonis had a little bit of more. Looks like Graham Potter's involved as well. Three-man collision there. Now I can finally swap back over to Melker Gardby. Getting close to that Mercedes. This is a position fight, so currently looks like the Mercedes has fallen off behind. Yeah, the last spin is Melker Gardby moving up one more position. Still by far not the most upfront GT4 drivers, because that is this man's Manuel Buggerin. Also driving in the Alpine, seems to be the quickest GT4 on track at the moment. Simply no competition, it looks like. Now we're back with Marco Vergouwen. Marco Vergouwen is driving the 296 himself and trying to catch up to Taylor. Well, Taylor's also doing really well. Only 14th and 15th respectively, but so far it doesn't look like the Dutchman has any chance of catching up. Well, maybe we'll see an opportunity coming in later, but at the moment it doesn't look like it. No, there he goes off into the wall as well. Well, that's going to cost him some time here. Looks like Jan Munchie saw had a little bit of a moment. Yeah, there indeed gets another bump on as well. Towards the middle of the race, we suddenly start seeing a few more incidents again. Quite unfortunate to see, but it is what it is here. The GT3 there has to be careful as well, because those GT4s are suddenly looking angry. Now you can see the difference in aero there between the GT4 and the GT3. Aston Martin here, you can see how big the wing is on that GT3. It needs to be, because the high-speed corners require a lot of downforce if you want to take it quickly, and that's something that the GT4 really lacks. It's a little bit of a more entry-level competition in that regard. Now, of course, I don't want to discredit any of the GT4 drivers, because it does look like a very tough job out there. They're just very different cars. They're not necessarily worse cars or easier cars. No, they're just very different cars to drive, because the lack of aero you got to compensate with lower speeds and stuff. And obviously, the engine already is a little bit less powerful. So no matter what, they're going to be slower. Sean Conner now getting closer to the Bimmer, one of the only BMWs on track. That is the M4 GT3 of Terry Driscoll. Headed into the old hairpin now. Excuse me, that is not the... That's McLean's, of course. Excuse me. Once again shows that I don't know the surnames that well. I gotta practice them at some point again. Jay Brooker taking out of P3 first lap and straight to the back. Such a shame. I was looking forward to this as well. It is unfortunate, but there will be another chance at redemption in the New Year's event. I hope to see you there, mate. It will be a lot of fun. I'll be on the mic again. And unfortunately those things happen. That's racing after all. And you know, sometimes people make mistakes, and the very difficult thing with racing is that somebody else's mistake can end up costing you the race rather than the other way around, you know, because I came from Counter-Strike, so for me the easiest way to compare things would always be Counter-Strike. So, you know, if you miss a gunfight, you're gonna be the one who ends up dying. But in this game, you know, if you make a mistake and if you miss the braking point, you might just take out off the field. Which is definitely, obviously, a very frustrating thing, but yeah, I can't really do much about it here. Some of the GT3s are still behind the GT4s as well. One of them is this man, Joe Plaster, driving in the alley. He was involved in quite a few accidents in the beginning and now trying to unlap himself. He's got a very long way to go. We're 16 seconds up until the next GT4 driver arrives. That's this man, that's James Williams in the Ginetta GT4. I've always really liked Ginettas, not gonna lie. I think they're very, very cute. Absolutely lovely little cars. And obviously they are cars that have the steering wheel on the right side compared to what you see normally. And it makes a lot of sense because it is a British company after all and mainly built for British racing series. But it's very weird to say. It always makes it very difficult, at least for me, to estimate how wide my car really is. Obviously that's also how they drive in the UK, so in that sense maybe not that different for them, but for me I've failed to get used to it. And visiting the UK for the first time in a really long time, and I might have to hire a rental car. It's going to be very difficult for me. Don't know how I'm going to be doing that, to be honest. But I'm going to be giving it a go regardless. Coming over to Adam Anderson, the man, the Britishman, trying to chase down Jones in the Porsche. Trying to figure out what the character is on the Porsche, but it's from the Sonic universe, but unfortunately I don't really know what it is in the back. I wanted to say it's Knuckles, but I'm pretty sure Knuckles is red, so it's a very good looking vehicle, I gotta say that, but I guess I really gotta bump up my video gaming lore, because in the end, you know, gaming is something that I've always done in my life, but apparently I've missed out on that series. Roughly 1.5 hours to go now. Simon Turner finally caught up with the GT4s and now is tasked with making his way around them. Actually, it will be more difficult than you might think it is, because, you know, you need to estimate very well where these cars are going, but if you're driving a different one, it might always be a little bit of a view. Patrick has gone off, but looks like he's recovered, so we're back to green flags everywhere on track. Simon Turner still trying to catch up here, but when can he stick the move? Looks like he'll go down the inside here. Over towards Coppa's corner. I think he's just done it. No, not quite. It's not even passed yet. Well, the GT4 is having a blast here defending. You'd assume that on the main straight eventually it'll be done for. Yeah. Simon Turner finally making the move here. That's really where the lack of power in the GT4s really starts to play a big deciding factor into that one. But we weren't expecting anybody to be holding on in the GT3s for that GT4s for that long regardless. So honestly, I'm very impressed with what they're showing right now, because in this GT4 class they're driving significantly slower vehicles, but still being good for some good fights and still actually holding on against the GT3s quite well. So that's very impressive stuff we're seeing here. Simon Thomas had a little bit of a moment here, so it looks like the GT4 of Gartby definitely isn't out of talks yet. No, it actually looks like it's getting a little bit here. Turner made a little bit of a mistake, but it looks like he's recovered, so it looks like we're all ready to go racing again everywhere. Swapping over to Terry Driscoll then. Terry Driscoll currently on his 19th lap. Needs to be careful because Sean Connor's come around the corner. He's come to say hi, trying to get himself involved. The driver currently still leading. It doesn't look like before he's got the pace quite yet, but we'll see if that is the case later on. Jake Smith going for a pit. It's going to be the first pit he's going to be serving here. Simon Turner here also making his way past the other Aston Martin. Actually looks like the yellow Aston Martin has shaken off the... I wanted to say the other Aston Martin actually looks like the Angela Scott's now ahead by quite a big mile. Quite a big margin. Go on, Terry. Where's Terry? Let's see if we can find Terry. There he is. Terry just scored. Right. Some extra POVs for you guys. Actually, you guys want to see what it looks like when it's getting changed down? We'll look at Sean Connor's POV inside the car. Very aggressive over the bumps there, but actually losing out quite some pace there. Sean Connor is actually losing to the BMW. Catching up. It seems like he's gaining quite a bit towards that turn there, but now obviously gets some trouble later. Got a puncture in both. Wait, really? You've got both right-hand tires in 28 seconds of damage. Really. It's fortunate that I don't have these stats. I used to have a race lab subscription that will give me way more detailed info, but I don't have it anymore. So I had some problems with billing, just like everybody else, and I couldn't get it to work on specific servers as well, which was really, really weird. And I don't know why that is. But at some point I just thought like, hey, maybe it's time to stop using it. So I'm back to the default HUD now, which unfortunately means that there's less information here. Ooh, the McLaren there. Getting in the way just a little bit. Terry Driscoll still trying to hold on there. Actually looks like he's had to live for quite a bit, because now the Ferrari is making his way past. Now it starts with chasing down that McLaren here. And Madison has gone off in the meanwhile. It's gone off quite far, but looks like he will have no problems rejoining the track. It looks like no damage were done to the car either. Gonna have to leave some space obviously for the Porsche to go by, because Porsche is driving significantly faster. And ooh, that is a GT4 being turned around. That is one of the faster GT4 drivers out there. That is Zach Dahl having a nightmare race actually. Really good in the qualifying, but once again spun around there by the faster cars. The GT4s, the race is gonna come to a halt for the majority. Not really a lot of fights happening apart from this one. It's Dennis Weissman trying to catch up to the KTM crossbow of his countryman. Nice body in that car. I'm gonna quickly take a drink as well, because if I don't, then my throat's gonna be absolutely screwed tomorrow. And I have a big presentation coming up, so that's definitely not what we want to be doing here. It's also a reminder to you guys, by the way, make sure you drink enough. You guys don't have to do much rather than watching a stream, so yourself a cup of tea, why not, man? Tea is very good for you. Drink water. I'm a water enjoyer personally. Now Garby here getting closer to the Aston Martin, which seems to be lacking in pace at the moment, and going for a very, very bold move down the inside. It looks like the Aston Martin realizes like, hey, there's no way I'm defending this, so Woodward losing out that position, and Garby moving up yet another position. They're getting closer, and actually third now in the GT4s respectively. Moving up for a podium in his class. Actually very much surprised that so many cars have gotten big damages on punctures. Well, obviously I've commentated other leagues before, and these things happen, and I realize that as well. It's part of racing, right? But one thing that has always amazed me is how they're able to keep going with the damage, because if something's slightly wrong with my car, it becomes uncontrollable to me. And seeing all this racing definitely makes me want to pick up Assetto Corsa Competizione a little bit more serious again, because when I first got my wheel, I've got a G29, so nothing special, but when I first got my wheel, I kind of bought it to play regular Assetto Corsa, maybe some dirt as well, and then I scored Assetto Corsa Competizione. I got into commentating there thanks to my good friend Chico Lanefar. I haven't looked back since, but I've been missing out on some good racing action here. And honestly, if I could join a league like this, looks like a lot of fun. Ooh, Fabio Giafrida going quite wide there. Has to eat a little bit of sand, but luckily able to keep it going. That's some information on the pit stops. Nobody's pitted yet in the top 22. Everybody's still driving around there, which makes a lot of sense time-wise, obviously. Many drivers that have come in are drivers with big damages, or drivers that perhaps are going to stop multiple times regardless, because you have to keep in mind that tire degradation is a real thing. Fabio Giorvier making his way through the GT4 cars as well. That must be very scary for the Ginetta as well, seeing all those fast GT3s making their way around you in very creative ways there. You can see how much he's struggling to give them any space, and also with an angry Mercedes right behind. It's not going to be easy for him. This is a three-man battle now. I believe, no, actually not quite. They're on different laps here, so one of the cars is not involved. The Alpine is not involved. The Alpine is behind by quite a big margin. The drivers are already lapping each other here. Look at how messy that is. Look at how somehow nobody's collided as well. I respect them very much, because as I say that, well, you know, in the Counter-Strike we have something we call the Coster's Curse. That's basically what this is. You know, you say something and the second you say it, the exact opposite happens. It really makes me think that I have a lot of power, which in reality I don't, but it's funny how these things always go the other way around. Like whenever you say something, exact opposite happens. I was just praising how good they were driving cleanly, and then immediately after there's a big incident. Well, that just happens. That's just life. I'm gonna have to move from it regardless here. Also drivers, new people in chat as well. Sorry, lots of drivers. Lots of new people in chat as well. Welcome to the stream. Yannick Petchkis just punted it into a wall. It's going to be significant damage on that Porsche. A very, very big incident. If there's anybody you want me to spectate specifically, let me know as well. Let me know what race number is in, or just write out his name to me, and I will make sure to give him some extra time on the stream. That's a little bit of quality you guys get from me. Streams will be absolutely, how do I say this properly? Streams will be absolutely personalized. That's the word I was looking for, perhaps. Yep. And also trying to entertain the viewers, of course. So I know that some drivers are more popular than others, so they deserve a little bit more attention. That's just how it is. These three cars you're watching, being led by the orange McLaren. Those three are all fighting for position. That is Sperla, Giuffrida, as well as Sean Conner right behind in the Ferrari. We're getting very, very close to each other now. 0.3 seconds is what separates them. Actually, it looks like Anderson also has to hurry up, because it turns out that he lost a bit of time and also is now involved in a battle here. So it's the McLarens both being sandwiched by the Ferraris all around there. So the leader of that group is a Ferrari, as well as the last chaser around. But it looks like the last chaser, Sean Conner, is losing quite a bit of time. No, not quite actually. It's the McLaren here making a little bit of a mistake, and now the yellow McLaren in trouble as well. Fabio Giuffrida is going to have to give that position. It's going to be Ferrari overtaking into P11. Good stuff we're seeing there. Or into P10, excuse me. And that's an opportunity as well to go around. Simone Sperla has just made the move happen. Absolutely. What a beautiful move that was by the McLaren. Good stuff we're seeing here, but the battle is far from over. Adam Anderson gets pushed around a little bit. Sean Conner makes that position. Now you can see also the back. Marcus needs to get out of the way, despite being in similar cars. And now it's currently Sberla leading that group, followed by Sean Conner. Then it's Adam Anderson, and then it's Giuffrida. And actually looks like Driscoll's now also involved in the BMW. He's managed to catch up here, so that's a 5-man battle now. Who's gonna come out on top here? The Ferrari leaves a lot of space here for the McLaren. It looks like Giuffrida's gonna say thank you very much. I'll happily take that position over. But now on the outside line, will there be room? Well, that's another less worry, because it looks like he's had to give it up. And no, he goes very, very wide there. You can see that the GT4 actually got into trouble because of it. Actually, it looks like that has cost him quite a few positions. So all the work that he's just done has just been immediately cancelled out. What a shame, what a shame, what a shame. Actually, very, very good awareness, I wanted to say, from the GT4 to get out of the way, but it looks like there simply was no time to adapt here. We're currently aboard with Melker Gardby, who is being chased down by one of the GT3s that is obliged to moving up another position, because this actually was a fight for position number 30, and realistically we all knew who was gonna come out on top. Really, Audi is simply quicker. You have to find the right moment to strike here. Looks like the Mercedes has also been paused, so Trevino also had to give up the position here, so applies to go up to P29 at least. That's something, right? This is also the more entertaining battle at the moment here. Two big battles on track, one between the GT4s and also this one. Currently being led by Sverla still, Connor's right behind, as well as Anderson and Giuffrido and Driscoll still fighting for the position as well. So all these drivers currently battling it out on track. No clear winner has been decided as of yet. Looks like Sverla is creating a little bit of a gap towards the rest. And Anderson especially now kind of fallen off here. So this group of four is now the big group will be focusing on. Anderson 3 seconds away now from Connor. Fabio Frida wanted to make a move, but will there be space? Well, looks like there will be space, but will there be pace? That's the more important question. Is he actually quicker than the Ferrari around here? What looks like actually Ferrari's left him a lot of room, so as a result he's just made his way past, and now back up into the top 10 he goes. Italian driver there showing what he's made of here. Just called with a small mistake there. Adolf needs to be careful as well, because Aston Martin could get in the way at any moment. Speaking about Aston Martin, since this man's still leading the race, Adam Berry has had no troubles yet. Currently he's actually 30 seconds ahead of Veldman, who is in P2. Yep. It's quite unfortunate when you're dominating a race by that much, you actually don't get much screen time. He's doing a very good job out there today, so it's only fair for me to say, hey man, I respect what you're doing. So what you're doing is pretty awesome. Right, time for more water for me. We're watching the GT4s here fighting it out. It is Melker Gardby we're aboard with. Driving in the Alpine. It's one of the cars with a round steering wheel actually. Only figured it out just now. Trying to go side by side. Ooh, that is a little bit of a touche. Melker Gardby keeps it going though. Needs to be careful of the Porsche in the back as well. Needs to create room. Luckily the Mercedes always helps a little bit with spacing as well. So it can be tough finding space to get around. Looks like he's done that successfully, however. Melker Gardby still trying to find his way around here. Takes a very, very wide line here. Tries to maximize the space on the track to potentially go down the inside. Will be able to stick the landing here. It looks like the Mercedes will have the inside onto the next corner, which is also the last corner. But is the Alpine already ahead? No, I don't think so. No, indeed they're not. There we go. Has to leave the space as well, but simply no opportunity to make a move over just yet. Just gonna have to wait patiently. See if another opportunity arises here. Melker Gardby still trying to have a look, but where can you pass on this track? It's very, very difficult, especially if you got so many GT3s racing by at the same time. Ooh, a little bit of a touch once again. Going wheel to wheel, her shoulders are out. Definitely now slightly ahead, but needs to leave enough space for the Mercedes. Now just needs to brake earlier. I think he's got it. Yeah, indeed he has. Beautiful move from Melker Gardby, but definitely wasn't an easy one. Has made his way past. That's also something that might allow him to potentially go for a comeback in the race. I mean, still very far away from the end, but also 5 more GT4 cars to overtake. So to give you a little bit of an update on the race standings here, Alex Berry is currently leading the race in the GT3 class and also overall, followed by Veldman and Makankov. To round out the top 3 in the GT4s, we have this man currently in the lead. He has got almost no screen time because he's been driving in no man's land, but that's a good case. That's a good sign in this case, because he's currently P26 and he falls a GT4 car out there at the moment here. Then we have Angela Scott right behind as well as Neil Woodward to round out the top 3 in GT4 class. So definitely hasn't been easy for them to get the races going with all the GT3s, but looks like they've actually had some interesting fights, especially towards the back. You've seen quite a few of them, but they're trying to push themselves even further, trying to go and catch up to the leading GT4s, but that's more tough than you could imagine, because the gap's already quite big out there. I know there's still a long way to go, and not all drivers might be that good, you know, losing these 2 hour stints, because 2 hours is a very, very long time. People don't usually realize that, but 2 hours of non-stop racing can really put a toll on your body. Or maybe I'm just weak, I don't know. It's like Marco Vergauw has had to give up 1 position, and that might become a double here. Needs to be careful, but looks like he'll at least be able to keep Burgio behind. Only just now. Nope, he's gone. Giorgio Bergian also has the inside and has made his way past the Dutchman. Doesn't look like there's much that could have been done about that one. So gaining yet another position here. Looks like Vergauw will lose yet another one. Ooh, no, he's gone into the pits here. He's decided, okay, you know, I've been overtaken. At this point, I'll just pit, serve my mandatory pit stop, and then keep going again. Obviously, we'll see some tire swaps happening as well for multiple drivers here. Sean needs to be careful with that suspension, because that did not look like something the car enjoyed very much. More and more drivers pitting now, but still nobody in top 13 is going for a pit. Plenty of time to serve them. I assume most of them will be doing it roughly towards halfway, because that's where you really can feel the loss of traction. In these races, you always have to keep in mind that it's not only you driving fast, but the tires also play a very big factor, because if you run out, it might be a little bit tricky for you to, you know, keep a high pace up. Fabio Gifrida trying to make a move down the inside here on the other McLaren. Is he able to do it? Well, not quite. They're still fighting for position, officially leaving space side by side, but now as the inside line, doesn't look like the other McLaren gets to say a lot about that one. So Burgio has been beaten. We'll be moving on to P14. Now it's Fabio Gifrida in P13. Now actually they're, interestingly enough, P12 on the other screen, so I'm not entirely sure what's happening over there. Don't know which one's accurate. Maybe somebody's disconnected but hasn't been paused yet. I'm not entirely sure, because we've seen a couple drivers leaving the pit now to disconnect, or simply to serve the mandatory pit stop. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but it looks like the positions are simply not correct. So at some point we got to figure out who's been missing. Well, we get there. There's in P11. That's all right. Yep. All right. Now it looks like it's all right again. Don't know what's happening there. Interesting enough, looks like the HUD bugged out a little bit. Definitely not the most stable of programs, we know that. It's not a program actually, it's an in-game thing, but obviously not something that has high priority. I mean, you have the cool cameras obviously set up, so that helps, but that's about it. No software is used to enhance the viewing experience, such as external overlays with the information that the game can actually provide onto you. See, a lot of people use programs like Race Labs. That's probably the biggest one out there. But there have been some issues with that program before, so I've stopped using it. It's definitely something that people always forget about sim racing, that how technical it actually is when it comes to tire pressures, tire wear, fuel, strategies, whatever. Right, it's just so many factors that you have to take into consideration while you're racing as well. Definitely doesn't make it easy out there. I wanted to take a quick moment as well to look at that KTM, because I actually think it's a very good looking car here. And the race leader just making his way past him now. That is Sir Barry, Indy number 1, driving him number one as well. P1 for the number 1 at the moment. Alex Barry 35 seconds away now from this man. Nico Veldman has been driving a really good race, but just hasn't really been involved in a lot because he just seems to be quicker at the moment than Magankov. The gap's roughly 4.5 seconds, but what else can you do about it, really? I mean, if there's no action for him, he's just driving there, focusing on his own lap times, and there's just nobody to bother him. There's just nobody really that can race him at the time here. Trevino's coming into the pit, so that's actually one of the faster drivers from that class now coming in. Bugarin is still leading the race, however, in his class respectively, the GT4 class that is, obviously. Aboard with Giorgio Bergio, trying to catch up to the Ferrari ahead of him. That is Silvestri. They're actually fighting for position here, so can he make a move at some point? Surely, but I have to wait just a little bit longer. Making their way into the corner curves now and into the old hairpin, but it looks like the Ferrari is still ahead. Have to look real quick as well, make sure that I pronounce the corner names right. But this one's actually not too bad because it's an English track, but especially the German ones and the French ones are some that I definitely seem to struggle with. No winner decided yet, and another fight now also happening. That is actually Simone Sberla losing that position to the Ferrari, at least temporarily. Sean Connors made his way past. Moving up to P9, but there's the move trying to cut back, but that doesn't work out for the McLaren whatsoever. No, that is Simone Sberla having to slot in behind again after going very wide, losing a significant amount of time. Means that this man is out of trouble, at least when it comes to the McLaren, because there actually is a car chasing him, but that is not a car that he's fighting for position. It looks like most battles have died out as well at the moment here. The only real battle on track is this one here. It's Silvestri, and as I said, actually heads into the pits in an interesting manner. Loses control almost immediately, but Mark Stewart will be moving up a position as a result. He's also yet to service pit stop, however, so at some point, if the time stay the same, he'll overtake him again. But a good potential to undercut for sure for Mark Stewart now. Currently P14 driving in the Aston Martin. Seems to be one of the quicker cars around here today. But I might be basing that purely on Alex Berry's race pace at the moment. Simply unbeatable. I mean, his best time is a 1:26, and he's actually the only driver to have driven a 1:26 in the race so far. I mean, if you look at the drivers behind him, you have this man, for example, Nico Veldman. His best lap time was a 1:27.3, whereas Berry's posted a lap time of 1:26.5, so he's losing 0.7 a second basically, which is quite significant. Obviously, that is only if you look at the fastest laps they've driven, but on average it just seems to be much slower on there. Oh, Nico Veldman, he has just been touched in the back. That is not very nice. He's gonna have to let all the cars pass and actually loses out on the position as well. Grigor Mangankov has just made his way past. Yeah, I will say thank you very much, Nico. I am now in P2, but maybe the Dutchman will have to have a say about that one. A little bit of an incident there happening between, I believe, an Alpine. I believe that was one of the GT4 cars touching him. Don't quote me on that, however. I'm not entirely sure about it, so if that was not the case, we'll just edit it out of the VODs. Absolutely no problem. Right, no more battles really happening at the moment here. Looks like the majority of the drivers currently driving in no man's land. No big fights for any positions at the moment, apart from this one now. James Williams trying to catch up to the Porsche Cayman, excuse me. The only Ginetta on the grid out today. It's such a cute little car, isn't it? However, that little angry bee is trying to catch up to, well, a very serious competitor for the competitor here. I mean, the Porsches obviously are really rapid, at least the GT3s, but don't know much about the GT4s. I'm not entirely sure. James Williams needs to be careful as well. Lots of drivers here trying to make their way past here. It actually looks like he's been touched as well, but Which that means that he has to give up some of that time as well to ensure that he isn't going off. That's never a good sign, let's be honest. James Williams also struggling to find a place to go really with all those drivers trying to overtake. Craig Hill's the one trying to overtake for position. Looks like he'll finally be able to get in there. Looks like he'll get lap one more time then. Yeah, Williams actually getting closer now and actually overtaking Brunel, who's gone into the pits. He was the one driving the Porsche earlier, I just mentioned. So he's temporarily a move up one position, and Brunel now serving his first mandatory pit stop. Williams is yet to pit, so taking a little bit of a risk here. Obviously halfway through, the tires aren't looking so good anymore. Julian Smith wants to get closer to that Porsche, and it looks like he will. As Christopher Getman, a name I don't believe I've said before in the stream yet, but currently P18. And now P17 after overtaking a driver that has pitted. That is Munchie headed into the pit in his Ferrari. Christopher Getman still holding on to that position strongly. The McLaren is looking relatively quick out there tonight. Can he overtake that Porsche? He's not yet. At the moment it looks like he's simply faster. Well, keep trying at least, but currently not a lot of progress being made around. 0.3 seconds is what separates them. Going quite wide there on the AstroTurf. That might open up a window opportunity here for the McLaren. Indeed, it has been done. He has just gotten for that overtake, and actually a small mistake there as well from Getman. Eats a little bit more of the sausage scrub than he perhaps wanted to. You have a new second place driver. Well, that's a new driver. I mean, driver that has retaken his position on the P2. I mean, that is Nico Veltman once again making his way past Grigori Magankov. It just looks like he's slightly quicker out there in the Audi R8, having no troubles with that car whatsoever. Might have sustained a little bit of damage though, thanks to the incident. Not entirely sure if that is the case indeed. Frida has been involved in an incident of some sort. Yeah, he's just gone onto the grass. Very, very deep onto the grass actually. Cost him quite a bit of time at least. Jan Itor also getting closer again now. Only 1 second away from Grigori Magankov, so he actually needs to be careful. But look at the speed that he has here into the corner. Nico Veltman looks absolutely terrified of that Porsche, and it makes a lot of sense because he's made a little bit of a mistake, and Nico Veltman will have to give up that position out. Made a small mistake, and the Porsche just comes to capitalize on it. Now a three-way battle here for P2. It's Grigori Magankov currently leading the two. Nico Veltman's right behind, as well as Jan Itor. Making their way past the GT4 cars being lapped. Grigori Magankov will easily have a go versus the other drivers, and now looks like he's able to extend that lead quite a bit here because the other drivers are currently stuck behind the McLaren. That was one of the back markers getting in the way. Ooh, that is Jan Itor going very, very wide there onto the grass, onto the sand. Back onto the grass he goes. It's going to cost him quite a bit of time. He's not going to be losing any positions as a result. He already was before, but he's lost quite a bit of time, so his hopes of a podium might have just shattered right in front of his eyes. Didn't look like there was anybody else involved though, so presumably also something that was his own fault. Perhaps a little bit of a miscalculation, perhaps just not getting the steering right. Alright, 1 hour remaining to be precise here. Race engineer already announced that we're halfway through, keep pushing, but who hasn't been able to keep pushing is this man. Blizzy Blake has had a little bit of an incident here. It looks like he is at least going again. He's lost 2 positions in the process, so nothing major, but definitely something that would have been nice if it were to be avoided. More damage is definitely something you also don't want at the moment here. Charles Stewart here getting closer to his rival. That is Embullen in that car. There's Busy Blake once again, driving the other way around. Looks like something might be wrong with his car here, trying to find a moment to get going on the track again. Losing quite a few positions in the process here as well. And so many drivers spinning at the same time here. Stewart's just gone into the pits, so is Bullen and Virgil here. There's Neil Woodward going into the grass as well. Looks like he's able to keep it out of the barrier at least, but has lost significant amount of time here. And I believe that it's also game over for the Porsche that we, for the Ferrari we just saw. Jack Evans trying to get back on the track here. Does it look like he's having a very good one out there today? Only in last position of all the drivers still going, and even more damage after hitting the wall again. Seems to really be struggling to get that Lamborghini going again. 1-0 has also gone off, but we were too late to catch in on the action. Iter and Veldman both in the pits now, and now driving out again. Sperla also going for a pit. So lots of drivers here serving the mandatory pit stops. Alan Brown loses a position to Burjo. Good stuff we're seeing here from the McLaren driver. And now Mickey Taylor's come into the pits. There was a little bit of a yellow warning. Looks like there were actually some yellow flags being called there, but he's just gone into the pits, so nothing to be worried about. Burjo still leading Alan Brown, but representatives of the FRL racing team don't really seem to give up quite easily, so perhaps I'll have a chance to cut back in now. More pit stop drama here. It actually looks like Weissman is going a little bit slowly, so Garby has been able to cut in front, and that's actually one of the drivers, also Scott Evans, has gone off into the grass here, but it looks like he's able to get it going again. Is there a driver swap happening? I believe so. Could be wrong, but for me it said there was another driver in the car, or maybe that's just a different bug. But I believe that driver swaps are allowed, but not something that you see very often in those in this league. I believe the majority of the drivers were solo drivers out there. Recently did my first driver swaps here. It's actually really difficult to keep up with all the drivers. You know, we'll do driver swaps because you have to look at your sheet like, hey, what has just changed for me? And if you happen to not be spectating that car on the lap, it's very difficult to see what's going on. So you have to swap POVs ridiculously fast to catch all of them. And at that point, it becomes, you know, not very pleasurable to watch to the viewers. Speaking of viewers, by the way, I see that there are currently multiple people watching the stream. And I just wanted to say thank you all for tuning by. It means a lot to me. Jack Evans in the Lamborghini now trying to make his way past Tom Brunel. That's another Lambo driving the other way around. Yeah, that is Scott Evans here. Really struggling to get that car going the way that he wants it to. Loses quite a few positions as well as a result. Now let's move over to Manuel Berger, and impressively enough hasn't lost his P1 in the GT4 class for quite a while. Seems to really be enjoying that Alpine, and to be honest doesn't really seem to have an issue with keeping up with some GT3s even. I mean, now you see the difference obviously, thanks to the majority, majority thanks to the aero differences in that car, but no, Berger has been having a stellar race on its own. Really a class of its own, that's the only thing that I can say about it. 11 seconds ahead of the second fastest GT4 driver, so I can only say that's really, really impressive. Valentin Rusu in the McLaren. Currently P3, trying to catch up to Magankov. It looks like we have lost the Dutchman in the process. Actually, I don't see him in the server anymore. He might have quit. Wait, has he really? That would be such a shame. Yeah, I think Nico's gone. Yep, he is gone. So Valentin Russo moves up one position. Quite unfortunate, but it is what it is. Those things happen, of course. It's all racing, and I don't really know what has happened to him, but it looks like he's no longer in the server, no longer present. somebody knows what has happened to him, please let me know in the chat. Would be very much appreciated, so I could also inform the people watching the stream, because I've got no clue at the moment here. Don't see a message in the Discord. At least not that I can immediately find. I mean, the Discord's quite big, so don't think I'll be seeing it. Yeah, I just wish there was a DNF channel where you can see why people were retired, but unfortunately that is not the case. So we can only really estimate what could have happened, really, because I didn't see it live, so I didn't actually see him leave the server. Kind of hard to track well, 37 drivers still out there, so definitely not easy to capture all of the action all the time. Terry Driscoll in the BMW. Looks like Hill is his next target. Well, at the moment seems to be 2/10 faster. Last 2 laps he has been. Terry Driscoll, one of the only BMW drivers out there. Definitely a car that has been underrepresented this event. I believe I've seen way more of him before, but doesn't seem to be the case now. This is also the straight where you see the biggest difference in terms of straight line speed. I mean, the Mercedes really doesn't stand a chance. It's just unfair, if it's anything. Obviously, that's also why they're ranked differently, so don't be sad. We'll see podiums on either class. Speaking about the GT3s, we haven't really seen a lot of action when it comes to the GT4s, GT4s I was talking about. Because they're all kind of driving on their own right now. Not a lot of battles happening at the back of the field. The GT4s just driving their own race mainly. Brown has come into a pit, which means that Driscoll will be moving up one position at least. There we go, they've both been overtaken here, so and Brown serves his pit stop. There he is, yeah. The camera seems to be a little bit broken there in the pit. This is where you send an angry email to the developers, hey, can you fix this piece? It's not nice. Fernando Rizzo here going down the inside of the Porsche to try and get himself up to second place, and he's just done that. Bagankov absolutely stands no chance throughout that corner, but he needs to leave space to the Porsche there on the inside. Looks like he is still leading by only but just such a small margin. To have the inside line now, he should just have it. Actually seems to struggle quite a bit on the exit, so definitely still a fight that will continue on for just a little bit longer. Valentin Russo should have the inside again. I believe the Porsche has just called it off. Yeah, no way you're getting past me here. Now ahead of the Porsche and pushed up to second place. Impressive stuff we're seeing here. Valentin Russo moves himself up to second place, but definitely not out of the danger zone yet. Gap's only marginal. Gap is still only 0.3 seconds. Ooh, Manuel Bugarin has had a little bit of a spin. That's quite unfortunate because he currently is leading that class. Well, he still is by quite a significant margin, but it does look like Angela Scott will at least be getting closer now. 3.5 seconds. Used to be roughly 6, so actually he might have a chance in this. Fabio Giuffrina now also getting closer to Berger, perhaps going down the inside. No, not quite. Doesn't look like there's enough space around there, so we're gonna have to wait just a little bit longer to make his way through. And I bet at some point he might have another opportunity. That opportunity, unfortunately for him, isn't just now yet. It's also one of the Lambos going wide just a little bit here, and Tom Brunel has also gone off the track, but it looks like he's recovered at least. Now finally we get to see some positions in the GT4 cars. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Graham Porter has lost a lot of speed into the following corners. So now you can actually see that the Alpine's getting closer. That is Guardby, who has arrived, and now you can actually see that the GT3 has to somehow find a way around them, but at the moment there doesn't seem to be a lot of space here. So stuck behind the GT4s for just a little bit longer. Obviously down the inside there might be an opportunity. No, there simply isn't. Well, somehow you're being just as quick as the Ferrari, but now it should just be done for. Now there's an opportunity for the Ferrari to push by and these GT4s to go to full potential racing and immediately back onto the racing line. It is the Alpine. So Graham Potter will still have the inside, however might need to sacrifice a little bit of exit speed. No, not quite even. It's actually the Alpine who ends up being slower on that small little straight. Graham Potter currently still ahead as well by roughly half a second. Now the Alpine's getting closer, but isn't quite close enough yet to make a move. There were opportunities, but they were not taken. So Graham Potter will stay in P30 for just a little bit longer. However, will that remain the same going around turn 1 here? Graham Potter needs to be very careful when steering in, and actually a little bit of contact there between both drivers. That is the GT3 and the GT4 colliding. Graham Potter simply wanted to defend, but didn't look like he was expecting the other driver to go on that side. A little bit of a miscommunication between the drivers, nothing major of course. And it looks like they're still going here. Magankov actually very close to those GT4s we were just spectating. He's trying to find his way around here, because it's Rusu currently trying to drive away in that McLaren. So now you can see that the McLaren's already passed and Krieger is still in that traffic. Finally he'll be able to make his way past the GT4, so now he can finally continue on his chase over towards the next driver. Same goes for Jan Iter. We couldn't get past immediately. He has now passed the GT4s to try and catch up to Magankov on the straight here. Roughly 3/10 is what separates them at the moment. Looks like the Mercedes is getting closer and closer, but doesn't look like there's a move. Just wants the inside really badly. Is the Porsche going to give it to him? It looks like it. Chooses to take a little bit more of a passive line, so the Mercedes is now making his way past, but definitely not out of the danger zone yet, because Krieger and Magankov could try and send it down the inside. Does so. A little bit of a dive bomb there, and actually ends up going a little bit wide as well. Just going to have to give over that position now to Jan Iter, who will move on to the third position now. So on a provisional podium, if things stay like this, 46 minutes left. Julian Smith is still in the McLaren, representing Brute Force Racing, excuse me. Chasing down Simon Sperla. Well, looks like Sperla currently is a little bit quicker. Only a small margin though. It's 0.8 seconds that currently separates them. Make it 0.7 here. Julian Smith making his way through the airpin and hoping to catch up, but actually seems to be losing a little bit of time. Nothing major, however, and now the traffic might also come and play part in that. Doesn't look like it will just yet. Trevino in the GT4 is currently leading him. I wanted to say he's currently leading GT4, but that's not the case. He's 4th in GT4. Trying to catch up now, and that's Simone Serio going very wide into the sand. That is the Aston Martin is trying to catch up to. You can see it in the left side on the screen, and actually he goes very wide across the grass. So there you go. Now suddenly they're driving very close again. A bit of a mistake there coming out from the Aston Martin, and GT3 struggling to get away around, especially the Ferrari that simply seems to be stuck behind at the moment. Where can I make this move is the question that he asked himself. Don't want to be getting in the way. The last thing you want to do is get involved in a collision. Vinoma Woodward fighting here for the 3rd position in the GT4 class. Yeah, we got a Fries made it way past, but ends up going wide over the sand, so I have to do it again. Doesn't really look like there's an opportunity for Ravina to catch up. It's actually Woodward to drive away. Flies straight into the pits. We'll go check on that later on. Adam Anderson trying to catch up to Mark Stewart, who's in that Aston Martin. That's the number 96. You can see it on the left side of the screen as well. The Mondrian expired GT4 getting out of the way as well. Trying to find the name of that of that maker for so long, and I just couldn't find it. Now I know it's Mondrian. It's embarrassing I didn't know it, to be honest, because, well, in the end he's Dutch, I'm Dutch. 1 + 1 is 2, right? Well, turns out not quite. Tom Brunel in the Porsche. Currently the last driver in the server in terms of position. Actually is a lap down as well compared to Williams. So Tom Brunel not having the greatest of times when it comes to track positioning. But you know, you don't give up. You never do. That's at least part of your sim racing blood, I feel like. It's really a shame that the field isn't half off, because I feel like it would have been really fun to have all the GT4s around. Just some cars that feel more fresh than the GT3s, because I've seen the GT3s so many times around, right? While racing, while commentating. So I've done 4 seasons of a certain league where it's only GT3s out there, and that's really where you start to notice, like, hey, I kind of missed this. I kind of, you know, wish we had a little bit more variety here. I've seen some special events that I was unfortunately not able to attend. So resultingly, we ended up seeing only the same 5 or 6 cars around on the grid. I believe there was one Mad Lad in the Bentley, which is by far the slowest car in terms of GT3s that are relatively modern. Now we see the KTM, we see the Alpine cars I haven't seen in a long time, and soon we might see the GT2s out there as well. Even more variety to the game. I'm still gonna keep pleading for the GT5, which is only the Ginetta. I feel like at some point they will add it, but don't know when it's going to be. Jan Ito here trying to go down the inside of the back markers. You need to be careful doing that. It looks like the Ferrari kind of anticipated it anyway. Still trying to catch up to Valentin Rusu. Currently in P2. Not even close to Alex Berry though. Alex Berry currently on a mini gap, and ooh, that is Jack Evans going very sideways into the track, and that's actually Woodward, who I don't think was doing anything wrong apart from, well, misbraking, and actually ended up hitting the car straight ahead. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate, because that takes out 2 competitive cars on the grid. Thompson here made his way past Gardby just now, which is a GT4 car actually. 30th in the race, and that means that he is second to last in the GT3 championship at the moment. Not even keeping up with all of the GT4s, unfortunately. Mark Stewart here ends up losing a position to Adam Anderson. Doesn't look like there's much that can be done about that one here. Mark Stewart's going to have to slow them behind. Simply doesn't have the pace to do so quite yet here. Valentin Russo still defending here from Jan Itor. This race is far from over from them. 0.1 second is what separates them at the moment here. Very close, wheel to wheel basically. Valentin Russo needs to be careful, needs to choose his line wisely if he wants to maintain that position. P2 for him at the moment. Into the chicane they go one more time, but that Mercedes looking really rapid out there. Might be able to go side by side. No, it's gonna have to wait, or surely there might be an opportunity here. Going down the inside he goes. Is a Mercedes absolutely sending it into the corner. Looks like he's able to get on the throttle just a little bit earlier, but the McLaren actually ends up holding on. Now has the inside once again. Valentin Russo needs to be careful. Oh, there's quite a few touches around there, but it's Valentino Rossi takes that position, and there is a little bit of a touch there, I believe, as well. That was the Mercedes giving just a slight little love tap there over to the McLaren. Valentino Rossi is still leading there. The elbows are out for both of the drivers here. Very, very keen on gaining that position, but oh man, can it be tricky around here? That's one thing that we can say for sure here. Gianmarco Silvestri is currently trying to drive away from Giuffrida. Right behind in that yellow McLaren. I mean, you can't really miss it, can you? 10th position for the Ferrari currently. And ooh, that's a little bit of a love tap. Gianmarco Silvestri actually able to keep it on the track relatively cleanly. So Silvestri is still leading, but looks like Giuffrida is slightly quicker. In fact, actually half a second quicker around the track. So the advantage here that Silvestri has is that there's a GT4 in the way, but if he makes that mistake himself, that's going to be done for. That is the McLaren here gaining that position and moving up to the top 10. Jan Itor currently behind Russo, but that might change after that turn because that is a small mistake being made by the McLaren driver, which means that Itor is now back in P2. Still let them nowhere combined. I mean, nowhere compared to this man. I mean, Adam Barry is really about to lap the rest of the field. He's currently very, very close even to the driver in second. Can you imagine that the second driver here might get blue flags? Well, it's actually not looking as unlikely as you think. Ooh, that is the Ginetta being swung around. Absolutely. Christopher Getman also goes off as well, but that's unrelated. James Williams, they're going off. Fortunately, had a little bit of a moment there, and now needs to get out of the way of the other Mercedes as well. That's the Mercedes moving over nicely. Looked like that could have gone a little bit dodgy, but James Williams gives the position like he has to, because that is not a fight for position life, because there's a lap difference between the drivers now. So the fastest drivers have done 56 laps. That is only Alex Barry actually at the moment. The slowest has done 47. So already making his way past the GT4 7 times. Really shows you what the difference is between those cars, but nevertheless, both are very impressive. Currently watching Terry Driscoll trying to catch up to this man. That's Craig Hill. Craig Hill seems to be doing quite well, holding on to the position in that McLaren, but Fred is always there when there's a BMW right behind you. And Force looking very, very stable around this track. Not the fastest car out there, but definitely not the slowest either. That might open up a opportunity as well as Craig Hill make a little bit of a mistake there. And there he goes down the inside. It is the BMW sending it into the corner, and now ahead of the McLaren. But on the straight, obviously there is no slipstream for him, so Craig Hill might be able to move back just about. No, not quite. It's going to have to slow him down. It's going to have to wait. Simply no opportunities for it yet. Now through the chicane, it looks like the BMW actually gains quite a little bit of a gap as well. So up to 7/10 now. Scott Evans has gone off again in the Lamborghini here. At this point, I'm starting to wonder how that car is still running. It's insane. So much damage there. Still going on strong, not giving up is a mindset that I always very much appreciate. Craig Hill here making his way around the corner. Is currently still trying to gain a position back over Driscoll, but Driscoll's looking really good out there. You know, BMW hasn't really looked back since. Half a second is what separates them at the moment, and it's up to Driscoll if he wants to move up to Blake. He's going to have to make up quite a bit of time, and currently 4 seconds to the car in front of him. It's been a difficult event for the majority of the drivers here. It's safe to say that it's a very difficult track. Donington Park is also another track that, well, is really big when it comes to infrastructure. It's nothing like Silverstone. It's nothing like, I don't know, name a random track where they drive in GTs. You can definitely feel the difference there. And this track just seems to be a little bit more phased around, and some very tricky turns around as well. So if you make a slight mistake over towards, well, any of the turns in the first sector, for example, you're actually going to be done for, because There's so much runoff area, just not a lot of grip to get back on to the track here. Blake here moving up, moving down the position, excuse me, it's Terry Driscoll with so much managed to catch up. No, excuse me, I said it the other way around. It is Terry Driscoll moving up one more position. BMW now ahead as well, so a little bit of a group forming here, especially if they manage to close the gap over to Anderson and Smith, who are driving just about in front here. We'll move up one position as well because Roos was in the pit lane. Down P15, serving a pit stop once again. I wonder if it was all planned, but the 2-stopper definitely is slower than a 1-stopper. It's not like Formula 1 where strategies can be really close. No, definitely not really comparable at the moment here. Smith is basically next to Stewart, but simply no way to make a move over just yet. You can see the McLaren taking a little bit of the grass there. And so have to seize his move as well. There's no more overtakes there at the moment here. Blake still driving side by side. It's Busy Blake as well as Craig Hill. And there's the touch there. That is the Ferrari having a tough time trying to recover. Spins right on the track. Managed to get out of the way at least. Into the grass he will go. We'll swap over to Grigory Magankov, one of the fastest drivers out there on the grid at the moment here. Looking for Jan Iter. And Jan Iter's made a small mistake into the turn, meaning we'll have to give up 1 or 2 tenths, but still no serious threat at the moment from Grigory Magankov. But as long as Iter doesn't make a mistake, he should just be fine. So one mistake and he might be in big trouble here. Grigory Magankov now getting closer and closer as well as we head over towards the straight. Definitely back in slipstream area now as well. No opportunities to make a move just yet, but maybe it will come eventually. We're just gonna have to wait. Grigory Magankov will eventually find a moment. I believe in that. We've got yellow flags, so what has just happened? That is Mark Stewart into the grass he goes. This is quite a bit of time, and at the same time, it's Scott Evans going off as well as Ayn Thompson. That's 3 incidents at the same time, but I assume that 2 of those were actually similar. Only this one was unrelated, and now Blitzy Blake has made his way into the sandy, even going very wide there. What has just happened? I'm not entirely sure. Looks like he's made contact, otherwise you don't really go off that wide unless you completely miss the brake pedal. So yeah, with 30 minutes on the clock, it looks like everything's still possible. This race is taking twists and turns. Definitely showing what they can do around this track. I mean, it's been a race that has been hectic so far. It's been a race that has gotten so many ups and downs for all of the drivers basically. Gets a little bit better here as well for Fabio Grafia, making up another position. Now it's going to be Taylor following now. Doesn't look like Mickey Taylor's got to say a lot about that one. Definitely not. No, Mickey Taylor, I believe he can still catch up, but he has to make some ground eventually. Scott Evans gone onto the grass again. Seems to be really struggling in the Lamborghini at the moment. I suspected it might have some damage as well, considering how much he's struggling to get it back onto the track, or perhaps he's just waiting on the side to try and rejoin safely. Yeah, it looks like that is the case. Now look at this. What is happening here? Taking the escape route, trying to rejoin safely. There he goes. Losing so much time, and actually goes onto the grass again. So perhaps trying to make his way into the pits desperately, trying to repair the car, because it looks like that car's actually done for. I believe it's got to do with some of the incidents we've seen before. Giorgio Burgio tries to make a move up. Silvestri's inside, and he's just done that as well. So Gianmarco Silvestri loses out in that position. It will be Burgio back in the top 10. Now less than 30 minutes on the clock as well, so half an hour from the ending of the race we are. To be honest, there's really not a lot of fights happening anymore. It's mainly just a spread out race where everybody's driving their own race. The drivers, however, still trying to catch up is Here Marco Silvestri lost that position out to Berger just a minute ago, but as he goes off, I feel like he might have to give up that dream there. If that is such an unfortunate moment for him, it looks like he's able to rejoin at least safely. It has cost him quite a bit of time. We're trying to rejoin safely onto the track. He will at least be able to keep it going again. Swapping over to Dennis Weissman now, just simply because I wanted to show a little bit of the gameplay of GT4 cars around, because really there hasn't been any for the last couple of minutes, and the main reason for that is that they seem to be driving in no man's land, all of them really far away from each other. You can see that the number 999 is driving closely to the number 61 car as well. That is Tom Brunel, but Tom Brunel is down 2 laps, so in the end they're not really racing there either. No, the Mercedes still going strong, but of course you're not really in a position to catch up to anybody here. Craig Hill is trying to catch up to Driscoll, but Driscoll seems to be doing really well. Lots of chats out there as well. Appreciate you guys all joining in. Manuel Buggerin is currently still leading the GT4 class, that is. Seems to be posting 136s, which is, well, significantly slower than the GT3 cars, obviously, but actually seems like he also is the quickest in terms of lap times in the GT4, so definitely seems comfortable in that little Alpine. I must say, it's definitely become one of my favorite cars already. I really like the design of that car. It's not something you see every day. Marco Silvestri makes a mistake, but he's able to keep the car going. The Alpine, I think it looks lovely. So actually it turns out that I went to a toy store today and actually saw that they had a Hot Wheels version of that car. And I really wanted to pick it up, but I decided to not do in the end. Okay, got to gain some position. That's actually on a GT3 car. That is Evans, who has unfortunately had to give up that position. Garby moves up once more, now in P28, which is in the top 4 of the GT4 class. Had his fair share of incidents as well, to be fair, over the race, but looks like he's recovered quite well. Julian Smith in the McLaren, getting closer now to his man. It's Gianmarco Silvestri. Needs to be careful around Donington Park in that Ferrari, because it looks like that McLaren, excuse me, I keep making the same mistake. It's McLaren. That McLaren is getting closer and closer now. Painted red, obviously, so very aggressive and angry, trying to take away that P11 from Gianmarco Silvestri. Probably checking his mirrors quite often now. Hey, what's going on? What is that McLaren doing? Well, what that McLaren is doing is just going side by side. Beautiful move there by, I believe that was Julian Smith. Yeah, indeed it was. Just needed to double check that. Made the move and now can keep chasing the cars ahead, but they're quite far away at the moment here. Adam Anderson trying to catch up to the Aston Martin in front. That is Adam Brown, but actually looks like he's zigzagging his way through the field now. Seems like the gap is simply too much to handle here. That is Mark Stewart unfortunately losing out the position as well. And Brown will be taking that. Absolutely no problem. Lizzie Blake has a little bit of a moment there, headed into the Schwanz curve, but looks like he's able to keep the car going. At least, excuse me, that's actually more towards McLean's already. Yeah, there's McLean's, alright, so it's kind of in the middle between the two. So still some small individual mistakes, but nothing major. And finally we have a on-track battle for position. Again, it's between the Mercedes. It's the GT4s. It's this man we're currently watching, Dennis Weissman, trying to catch up to the car ahead, which is Graham Potter, who's gone for a little bit more of a standard look on his GT4 car, whereas Weissman has gone all out in that Mondrian inspired car. That's 10 for myself. I'm happy to be 5. Alright, so you're actually teaming up your way. I think I can see that somewhere, right? No, not really. Oh yeah, I can actually. So it's... Oh, sorry, on Veldman. So that's also what happened. Yeah, I thought he disconnected and so it's driving the team race. Well, I know you've done a great job, Matt. I saw that overtake in the end there. Very beautiful move. Stewart is taking it over. Yeah, I actually, for some reason, thought that there were only like 2 or 3 teams in the field. Turns out there's not. But who am I to do my research, right? So I was like, hey, where's he gone? Is he disconnected? No, not quite. But now up to P5, and now I assume your mate's gonna finish the job, right? Don't think there's much that can be gained. From swapping again, really. I think it's only fair to say that this man has been stealing the show. I mean, first position and seems to be gaining a second per lap still. It's just out of this world, really. Adam Barry can be very proud of what he's done here, because even if he makes a mistake here, he'll still be 1 minute up minimum. He's currently 1.5 minutes up. He has lapped Magankov. Can you believe it? He's lapped the number 2. I can only say huge respect to that, because that is honestly some very, very good work. Managed to do so here. Alan Brown trying to make his way over towards Craig Hill. Craig Hill is running that McLaren. This time actually said it right. Wow, can you believe it? And let's see if the Aston can get any closer there. Running the Formula Racing League livery as well. It's a very good looking livery. It's very clean. Really like the color scheme as well, going for that pink and blue combination, which the main color is white on that car, but I think it looks absolutely stunning. There we go, lads. I'm officially out of order as well. Means we are done for... Ooh, that is the Lamborghini going really, really wide again, and Alan Brown actually gaining quite a bit of time there on Craig Hill. Might be able to go for an overtake over towards the main straight. Well, not quite. He's going to have to wait just a little bit longer. He has to be patient here. Knows that he can play the long game. 22 minutes to force an error, and I feel like eventually he will. He just has to find the right moment to do so. So far, definitely no opportunity yet. And actually looks like Mercedes is... Oh, sorry, the McLaren is moving over just a little bit longer. Ooh, James Williams and Tom Brunel has collided. So it's actually 2 back markers here in the race. Having a little bit of an incident later on. Looks like both cars are driving, and actually the Aston Martin of Mark Stewart you see driving around there has been involved into that one just a little bit as well. He didn't touch any of them, but had to make evasive actions. Wanted to make sure that he didn't hit anybody else. Early aboard with Perry Driscoll trying to catch up to Gianmarco Silvestri, was the car riding ahead. I should quickly just see what his name actually was. Gianmarco Silvestri is currently leading over him in the 296. The BMW is getting closer and closer, however. So potentially there is a move to be made in the last 20 minutes of the race. Trying to see where the opportunities would be for him, but currently there simply aren't any. It's a really difficult track to overtake on, I think, because the way the turns are catching. Yeah, Sperler's catching quick. Sperler's doing 1:29.7s, whereas Stewart is doing 1:35. I mean, those were the most recent laps, obviously. So looks like there was a small mistake made by your teammate, and that's probably why that's happened, because he's gained 3 seconds in a lap, so that's quite significant. Don't give up hope. Believe in your teammate. You can do some good things around here, and I mean, a podium is looking less and less likely, right? But top 5 should definitely be doable. I mean, looks like they're doing really well, but I really can't believe that I thought that Veldman had retired. But no, it's actually teamed up with this man. That is Sergio Osorio, who is now handling the Audi R8. It's a tricky car, the R8, as I mentioned before. It looks like they're having no problems with it whatsoever here. passing the GT4s there once again. And here we can see some position swaps. It's Silvestri moving up 2 positions, and Driscoll and Hill both losing out. Now you can see that Alan Brown's also come closer. It's actually Alan Brown, excuse me, not Adam. So now Foreman train here is race is getting closer and closer towards its end here. No winner for this battle has been decided as of yet. It's still Silvestri leading. These 4 aren't done battling it out just yet. Still giving it their everything in the last moment of the race here. No opportunities to overtake just yet, so they're going to have to just wait a little bit. So we go down the most entertaining part of the track, at least in my opinion, the grading curves and the old hairpin. Absolutely love how that just flows around. No position swaps here around. The Ferrari is still leading the BMW and the other McLaren. Going to be a tough one here. How can we find an opportunity to overtake? Perhaps this will open up some new opportunities, especially as the BMW goes really wide. Terry Driscoll might be in trouble after that one. Yeah, it's already a pass from Craig Hill, but going down the inside is the BMW. Ooh, that is a touche. That is Silvestri getting hit around. Marco Silvestri just got hit in Melbourne, and it looks like he's now quite far away. That's so unfortunate that happens, but it is what it is here. Ooh, is this a new man on track out there as well? I believe it is. Manuel Novak, is he teamed up? Let's have a look here. Can I quickly find him? Novak. Yeah, he is. He's teamed up with Pechka, right, yeah. Want to make sure Russo's got himself a drive-through penalty as well. We didn't really shine the light on that one either here. Manuel Novak moving up in position, especially after that mistake from Christopher Getman. Still going strong, however, here. Yeah, it's Russo and Garby both got themselves a drive-through, so that might actually cause trouble here for this one. Melker Garby is currently in P28 and might be moving down just a little bit more. I mean, Graham Potter, excuse me, Gary Potter's not his name. Will be very delighted to hear that. And as Weissman has to give the position here to Thompson, making his way around in the GT3 car. Yeah, the simple speed difference is just too much to handle, really, and I can't really blame him. And as Weissman fortunately moves down to P31, and Thompson's moved up to P30. Ooh, Terry Driscoll has gone off track. That is a shame. He's now at the back of that little group that still exists, but has been pushed away from each other just a little bit more here. Alan Brown in P30 now, catching up to Craig Hill, hoping that he could potentially make a move towards the end of the race, but it's less and less time available every single lap, so he has to keep that in mind. He needs to use everything he has to get closer to him. Here's Simone Zberla getting closer to Charles Stewart. That was his first name, that's right. Dragon Ball Z car looking strong. It's the power of anime, of course. P5 for him at the moment. What more can he do? And Brown getting closer to Craig Hill. No potential for a move just yet, but I feel like eventually we will. Gaps keep closing, and I mean the lap times from Brown are just simply much better at the moment. It works in his favor. He definitely knows what he's doing, but finding your way around the driver is the most important part of overtaking. So where are you going to be able to do it? You can be so much quicker, but if there's just no way around, then what else can you really do, right? So he needs to wait for an opportunity to strike, or perhaps force him into some kind of error where he can then go for a move. We're simply too far away at the moment. Gonna have to just wait. So that also gives him some time to look at the other battles here on field. One of them is Giorgio Bergio. It's this man right ahead of him. It's Mickey Taylor in that Ferrari, still going strong. P9 and P10 respectively. Bergio only currently 2 tenths away from going side by side, but doesn't really look like the right part of the track for it, to be honest. Also looks like Taylor's got some damage to his front end. Has been involved in a few incidents here and there, but nothing major, luckily. Craig Hill is the one we're watching here, as it's going to be Adam Brown getting closer to him. And Aston Martin's looking very, very scary in the mirror, so that luckily for him, Craig Hill is getting just a little bit over towards the straight. But is that enough? There's 13 minutes yet. There's 13 minutes left. No moves as of yet, and Valentine Russo has just lost control of his vehicle to really put another mark on this already very, very frustrating race for him. He was up there with the top laps, made a mistake, got a drive through later on as well to make things even worse. Gianmarco Silvestri is also gone off. I believe he might have been hit. Unfortunately, we don't really know what has happened exactly. That's never a good sign, let's be honest out there. I think we can all agree. Manuel Bulgarin is still leading the GT4 championship in the meanwhile, because in the end there's just not much that can be done. I mean, look at the gaps here. Scott just still going. Angela Scott is still trying to catch up, but simply not getting any closer. Theo Driscoll has gone off into the grass as well towards the end of the race, so that moves him down 2 positions. Might open up some opportunities for the other drivers as well to score some good points in this event. Obviously it's only a one-off, so in the end there's no real scoreboard they're fighting for, but it would be nice to end it on a positive note, that's for sure. Giorgio Borgio wants to get ahead of the Ferrari, but at the moment there's no real way to do that. Simply having to wait here. And Jan Iter now actually going into the pit lane. Where is he? There he is, yep. And there's some beautiful camps we're seeing here, yep. Oh man, I love this program so much. Yeah, Jan Iter's gone into the pits very late in the round, so that means that Osorio will actually be moving up one position. There we go, he'll be moving up. That is Nico Veldman's teammate moving up to P3 here. So Iter's pitted really, really late into the race here. That's really, really unfortunate for him, but there's not much that can be done about it here. Majority of the drivers are on a one-stop strategy. These ones that are at the front. The only driver in the top 10 who hasn't gone for a one-stopper is Jafrida, who stopped twice. I feel like that might have actually helped him a little bit with the race pace as well, considering that, you know, fresher tires always make it just a little bit easier, and refilling multiple times also means that you can run a slightly lighter car, which might play a big factor considering that how long this race is. The LFM balance of power already obviously plays a big role into this. Slower cars have been buffed and faster cars have been nerfed just a little bit to make it a little bit more of an equal field. Obviously the cars still handle very, very differently, so you have to find one that fits your driving style really, really well. But in the end it's safe to say that the driver makes a difference at the moment. Taro Driscoll has gone off again, once again towards the end of the race here, now up to P16. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Nigel Longdon here also has lost a couple of positions. I mean, still a very good race from him compared to his starting position, which was P10. Still 10 minutes to go, and trying to hold on to the drivers ahead of him, but this man's quite far away already. Simons Berla is 3 seconds ahead at the moment, and it doesn't look like there's really any opportunity to potentially catch up, but never say never here. Neil Woodward in that Aston Martin needs to be careful because that's the GT3 coming through. That was actually an overtake for position here. That is Evans, excuse me, moving up on position, and GT3 losing yet another here. Neil Woodward is currently the third last in his class respectively, and also the third last in the race in total. Yeah, GT3 is simply faster around here, more aerodynamic. Ooh, Terabisco needs to be careful. That was another mistake that he made. Looks like he's able to keep it on the track at least. Terabisco seems to be struggling, perhaps even with tire management, I wanted to say. Because I believe that his car is looking very, very slippery out there now. And I know the BMW is a relatively reliable, stable car. So seeing that makes me think that his tires are basically like driving on ice at this point. Charles Stewart here catching up to the McLaren of Simone Sberla. Another fight for on-track position towards the end of the race here. Charles Stewart, show you what you're made of towards the end of this lap here. 8.5 minutes left to drive. Sberla seems to be doing alright at the moment, at least, because the gap is slowly but surely increasing by just a little bit. Great stuff for seeing out there from the drivers that are all still going. I mean, it's been a relatively clean race, especially towards the end. I mean, we've had our incidents, but I guess that happened. It was only that the start was such a mess. So many incidents happening at the same time. It was impossible for me to even keep track of them. Currently aboard with Joe Pleister, and Joe Pleister is still trying to gain the extra position here. Currently in P20, trying to get P19 from Getman. The gap is roughly half a second now. That's the Porsche you can see as well now on the left side on your screen. That's the number 79. He's currently fighting with for an on-track battle here. The GT4 actually looks like it got into the way just a little bit, but looks like they'll make their way around, so nothing to be worried about. Looks like we have another lever as well here, so now we can see that some driver has left the serve. I'm not entirely sure who it is, but there's 36 drivers left now, so the field is a little bit smaller than the field that we ended up starting with. Tom Bonneau has gone into the pit, or actually no, he's not. He's had a little bit of a moment there. Looks like that was oversteer, almost into the pit. Managed to stay out of it at least. In the GT4 you're seeing overtake there is actually not a overtake for on-track position, because both Brunel and Williams are on different laps at the moment. Same can be said about Russo, but I think like Valentino Russo might have called a quits, and that might have also been the car that I said had left the server. Well, not quite, but he's come into the pits, and I think that will be the end of his race there. Simply disaster struck for him towards the end. Drive-through was a little bit too much swell to handle, because drive-through ends up costing you quite a bit of time here. Now the pit isn't extremely long around here, that's the only advantage that you have, but regardless, you know, it's going to cost you quite a bit of time, considering that the other cars can keep driving at really, really high speeds over towards the main straight. So you're going to feel that regardless. Then getting up to space as well, leaving space for getting up to speed again, leaving space for the drivers. Cost you even more time, especially with so many drivers on the track. Mickey Taylor in the Ferrari 296 here needs to be careful, because it looks like Giorgio Bergio has just come around to try and overtake over towards the end of the race here. McLaren's still looking really strong out there. It looks like it's one of the cars that actually hasn't been damaged that much either, so relatively clean race from him, or perhaps some repairs done. I don't really remember actually. There's been quite a few. Yes, excuse me of the hiccups. Just gotta drink some more water. Apologies for that, apologies for that. Charles Stewart going in P6. Here are the times, by the way, for the people wondering. 5 minutes left. That is all that we have to work with. Roughly 3 laps as well as the last lap, depending on where you are on track at the moment, once the leader finishes. Scott Evans gone off as well. One more time. Somerville started his comeback over towards that Ginetta GT4. That is Williams in that car, still fighting for a position over towards the end. Once again, apologizing for my hiccups, by the way, can't really help it at the moment. We're just gonna try and keep going. I think the more I speak, the less time the hiccups has to get in the way. As long as I stop talking, it will just come. Right, Charles Stewart still in P6. Looks like one position has been lost as well for that team currently running the 296 here, just because it looks like Jordan May had a really good stint in that thing, but then unfortunately towards the end simply one car was stronger. It was Longden taking that position. Jack Evans still going in the Lamborghini. I really admire, by the way, the fact that he's still going. Like that, I really have respect for that, because you know, that not giving up mentality is really nice. Fighting spirit is something that I can always appreciate in a man. Ooh, Tom Brunel goes off and actually ends up touching the other GT4 car. That is Dennis Weisman. He did not do anything wrong with that one, but that was really tough out there. Alright, there we go. I think my hiccups are gone. My heart rate is just really high for some moment. Don't really know why. 2 minutes left on the clock, however, and Marco Gardby has had a little bit of a moment as well. He's going slowly, but not that it matters, because he's really in no man's land at the moment. Doesn't look like anybody will catch him, at least soon. There's still a little bit of time over towards the straight, but nothing major. But still this man leading the race in the GT4 class. It is Bugarin, actually currently faster than... How many GT3s? Yeah, 2 of them. It is Scott Evans as well as Jack Evans. I wonder if they're related, by the way. In the other league we have 3 Christies. It's an absolute disaster for me as a commentator, because I keep changing their family dynamics every single race. By accident, of course, so by now their family tree is actually a circle. Because, you know, it's very difficult to keep your head on things. And there's just so many things you want to talk about, so many things you want to point out, and so many things happening at once that, well, making some small mistakes during the commentary is only natural. Gianmarco Silvestri has still got a drive crew to serve as well, so he's going to have to come in. But after that little spin, doesn't look like he was gaining any positions anyways. Giorgio Bargio is still fighting with Taylor all the way towards the end there. The 296 just doing its own thing. Seems to be ahead, at least temporarily, but with 40 seconds on the clock in the lead already on its final lap, we will see the end of the race soon. So if there's a moment to overtake, then it is now. We have to find the right moment here. Simona Serio trying to drive away from this man. It's Simon Turner, a name I know I haven't said a lot here on the stream, but these drivers might be one of the back markers when it comes to the GT3 racers. I mean, a few exceptions are there actually, but they've had some very good battles around all race, so it just gives me a moment to highlight that real quick here. As you can see, the race leader in the minimap approaching the end here. That will be Alex Berry. Really no competition for him here. Very clean race, and with 81 laps served, looks like that one will be the last one. It is Adam Berry who's going to win the race here, ladies and gentlemen, with a gap of 13 seconds. So actually less than he had before, so perhaps also going for a little bit of a pits here, but it will be this man winning the race. And Adam Berry has finished officially. Well done to Adam Berry. A very impressive racing that we're seeing here. There's a little bit of a victory donut there, and it will be Gregory Makankov coming out in second place. Very, very well driven by the Porsche driver as well. Looks like Sergio Osorio is still quite far away. And it's this man who will take the victory in the GT4 class here. It's going to be Manuel Bugarin, followed up by Angela Scott, who's made herself into P2. So now it's all waiting for Sergio Osorio, making his way through the finish now on the straight one more time. The Dunlop straight. Don't think I've pointed it out that that's what it's called. Making his way into the SS now. Needs to be careful because Tom Bernil's right ahead. That will be P3 for him eventually. It's Peria finishing in P4, Longden in P5, and Stewart in P6. Giuffrida in P7 as well. Good stuff we're seeing out there today. Now waiting for the R8 to come in. And the GT3 standing has been decided as well. It's going to be Bugarin, Scott, and then it's going to be Gartby after. No, wait, sorry. It's Trevino first, and then it's Gartby in P4. There we go. Sergio Osorio making his way through the end there. Beautiful stuff from him as well. Now waiting for the last driver to come in. I believe that's Craig Hill. Actually, there's a few other back markers still out there. One of them is Malcolm Gartby is still out on track, and that should be the last one to finish if I'm not mistaken. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that is the end. I want to thank you guys all for watching the stream so much. And once again, massive congratulations to this man, Alex Barry, for finishing first. Then it was Magankov and Osorio in the GT3s, and then in the GT4 Championship we have this man ahead. It is Bugarin in first, followed by Scott, and then we have Gartby in P3. I want to thank you guys all so much for watching. It was a lot of fun streaming out here for you today, and I hope to see you again in future races. I should be there for the New Year's race as well. That is on the 28th if I'm not mistaken. So I hope to see you then. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ricky DC. I am a freelance Counter-Strike and sim racing commentator. And if you're interested in my services, shoot me a message on Twitter at RickyDC. The I is the one. And I hope to see you guys the next time around. It's been an absolute pleasure providing the commentary for you all. And I hope to see you in about a week. Goodbye.